Good morning, pretties, and welcome to a Tuesday morning coffee chat. Okay, so today I'm going to address one of the biggest questions that I've gotten since I've started doing this, and that is what my experience has been with BHRT, which is Bioidentical Hormone Replacement Therapy. It seems like a lot of you are interested in this, want to hear about my experience with it. So I have a few disclaimers before I start this. My first disclaimer is I am not a medical professional. I am just going to tell you about my experience with this. So, take it with a grain of salt. Everybody's experience is different. Definitely, if this is something that you're thinking about doing, research it thoroughly before you make a decision. Talk to your doctor about it, make sure that it's right for you, all that good stuff. Okay, so that's disclaimer number one. My second disclaimer in this is that I do only testosterone right now. Although I believe I am perimenopausal, my doctor thinks so too. I have not had to do estrogen or progesterone therapies yet. So this is just my experience with testosterone, and I can't speak to the other hormones, but I do have some friends that have done them. I've had mixed reviews from the friends who have. Some people have done great with those, and some people, their dosing, it took them a little while to get it right. So those are my two disclaimers. And the third thing that I'm going to tell you is that one of the reasons why I do these coffee chats is because I want to share more about my real life and some of the struggles. And hopefully hearing this, and this one in particular, is going to help somebody out there. And I have a feeling it is going to. So I'm going to be brave and real and share lots of details with you. So I hope you're ready for that. So we're going to go through what the replacement therapy is, what the process of getting the pellet is, how much it costs, what I've noticed has changed since I've started it, and also the side effects. So we're going to go through the good, bad, and ugly of this whole process. And then you can have some more information. You'll be armed to go and talk to your doctor about it and see if it's something that might be right for you. All right, so we have to start at the beginning. And this is the part where I got to get really real and share something with you that I've not shared publicly for obvious reasons. But the reason that I even started down this avenue is that after having Ava, our third child, my drive never returned. So I thought it was just postpartum and my hormones were just trying to level out. And, I just thought that was part of the process. So I didn't really think too much of it at first, but then time just kept dragging by and it never came back. Like I never thought about sex. It was like, it was not a part of my life anymore. And obviously that doesn't bode very well in a marriage. So I went to my doctor and I talked to her about it. And I had a different doctor at that point. And she said, well, what do you have going on? You've got 3 kids, you're super busy, you have a full-time job, your husband travels all the time. So this isn't all that uncommon. So I accepted that and I was, okay, I can deal with this. But it started to become an issue with our marriage where Craig and I were having more and more discussions about it. Things got more and more, I don't want to say heated because it was never to a point where he was mad at me. I think he felt more rejected than anything, which was the hardest part for me because I kept telling him over and over again, I was like, this is not about you. This is not about you. This is about me and this is how I feel. And I just had come to a point where I accepted that this was like the way things were going to be the rest of my life. So eventually, because he was feeling bad about it, I went to a therapist to talk to somebody. And, she kind of told me the same things. We went through, lifestyle issues. And she said, I think, maybe this is biological and you should probably talk to your doctor about it again. So my next annual, I went in and my doctor gave me a hormone assessment quiz to take before my visit. And on that quiz, one of the questions was, how is your drive? And it was from 0 to 5, with 5 being really good, 0 being really bad. Of course, I circled the 0. And I took it in and handed it to her. And I was super nervous because it's not something you really want to bring up with your doctor. But here I am telling all of you about it. But anyway, she looked at my assessment and she's like, this is glaringly obvious. There's something, missing here. And I said, yeah. And she said, well, have you ever had your testosterone levels checked? And I said, nope, I've never done that. So she said, okay, we're going to run a panel today. This is how this works. I do hormone pelleting. And this is my gynecologist that I go to. And she explained a little bit about the process with me and bioidentical hormone replacement. These are non-synthetic hormones. They're plant-based. They are in pellet form so that it stays in your system at a regular level every day. You don't have to have the spikes like you do with the creams or taking a pill. And it's basically something that they insert in your upper, and they say hip area, but I'm going to say upper buttock. It's kind of lower back. It lasts about 3 to 4 months. And I said, okay, well, I'm interested in this. Let's run the test and see. Insurance does not cover hormone pellets, by the way. So my initial blood work was about $150 to get it run and tested. And when my results came back, she called me and she said, hey, I think I know what's going on. You have like no testosterone whatsoever. Great. So I didn't realize women needed testosterone. Apparently we do. We don't need it in as high of levels as men do, obviously, but it is an important part of our hormone profile and keeping us feeling balanced. So I went ahead and scheduled my appointment to get the pellet. I'm scared to death about it, thinking about the injection and, or the incision and the injection of it and all that stuff was kind of creeping me out a little bit, if I'm going to be honest. So I went in, made my appointment. The process takes like 5 minutes, seriously. She gave me a local anesthetic, waited a couple minutes for it to kick in, and then made a teeny tiny incision and put the pellet in. So it's subcutaneous. It's not very deep, so it's not like they have to make any kind of deep incision. And then she puts a little butterfly Band-Aid over it and a gauze bandage. So that stays on there about, I think the butterfly has to stay on, it can stay on up to 7 days, but the top cover stays on for a few days. And as far as restrictions are concerned, I just can't do any running or squats for like 48 hours after I get the pellet. Otherwise, I run the risk of opening that up. Okay, so results. All right, so the first time I got my pellet, which has been, I've been doing them for, I think, like 4 years now. The first time I got it, it took about 2 weeks, I want to say, before I even started feeling anything, which is common. It takes between 2 and 4 weeks before you start to notice the effects, and then it can take up to 6 months for the full therapy to take effect. But after about 2 weeks, I started noticing, like my energy levels were higher. Whenever I was at the gym, I felt like I had more stamina in my workouts. My moods improved. Like the sky was bluer and the grass was greener. And it wasn't anything drastic. It's not like it was like a slow, gradual change. It wasn't something like one day it just totally kicked in. And of course, my drive returned. Oh my gosh, yes. And I'll put it like this. This is what my doctor said to me, because she does pellet therapy too. She's like, it's not like you're walking around like, oh, baby, baby. It's more like you're just more receptive. And that's what I needed. So yeah, I have been very happy with the pellet therapy. It is a little bit pricey. You have to go back every 3 to 4 months. It depends on how quickly your body metabolizes your pellet. And when we started mine out, I was on the lowest dose possible, and I stayed there, I want to say, for at least a year before we had to bump it up just a little bit. And I've been at that level ever since then and feel like that's therapeutic for me. I haven't had to go any higher than that, but it can be adjusted. My doctor likes to start out low and be conservative, which is awesome. So you don't have that lots of side effects that kick in right away. So yeah, it's about $350 each time I go. So it is a little bit pricey, something you may want to consider if you start into this, but totally worth it for me. It's made a huge difference. And you can get more information about this. I do BioT pellets, BIOTE medical.com is the website. If you want to check it out, you can do a hormone assessment there. I am not affiliated with them in any way. This is just the brand that my doctor uses. There's also a provider directory if you want to see if you have a doctor in your area that does this. It's on that website too, and you can read more about what the therapy is and how it can help and all that good stuff. So they have tons of good information. It's BIOTE medical.com. Okay, so let's move on to side effects. Yes, there are a few. I think the first side effect is, and this is probably this happens to me like right after I get my pellets, is that I feel a little bit more assertive, which I guess makes sense because of male hormones. Some women report feeling, I don't want to say aggressive, but I guess maybe that's something that comes along with it. So yeah, there's definitely a little bit of that element in there, like a little bit of extra irritability. I'd say I'm a little spicier right after I get my pellets. Everyone in my family knows. I have a friend that gets them too, and she's like, yeah, I just tell them, I just got my pellets, so please, like, be really careful, don't get on my nerves. But that doesn't last for long, for me, at least. It subsides after a couple of weeks. The second side effect that I notice is that I have to shave a lot more often. Male hormones, yes, totally makes sense. And the thing that's super annoying about this is that I get black hairs on my chin, which I know a lot of us do with aging, so I have to pluck those little guys out on a regular basis, which is a little annoying. But really, those are the biggest side effects that I get. I have had some breakouts with it on my shoulders, and where else? I got some like on my neck, which was weird. But that's something, again, that kind of like comes and goes. If I'm going to get that, I usually get it right after I get my pellet, like within the first couple weeks, and then things sort of level out and get better. The side effects have never been annoying enough for me to say that I don't want to do this anymore. I feel like the benefits like so far outweigh the side effects that it's not even funny. So yeah, so that's it in a nutshell. If you guys have additional questions about it, then please ask me. You can DM me if you're not comfortable commenting. And I certainly understand that. But yeah, it's been a good experience for me. And if you're struggling with, low drive or low energy, or another thing that I noticed is that I had trouble building muscle. That's improved, not to the point where I'm like obviously I'm not some bodybuilder or anything, but I have noticed that it's a little bit easier to build muscle now. And another thing is that it has helped me burn fat easier, especially in my midsection. And I've had friends who have reported the same sort of effects with their testosterone pellets too. One other side effect I should mention is that usually within the first 2 weeks of getting my pellet, I retain a lot more water than normal. So I think that that's also a normal side effect too, but within a couple of weeks it flushes out. I just make sure I drink lots of water during that time and try to avoid tons of sodium, because it will make my hands and feet especially swell. And I get a little bit bloated in my tummy too. But again, that all sort of goes away after it levels out a little bit. So yeah, that's my experience with BHRT. You learned a lot more than you probably wanted to know today, but hopefully that is helpful to somebody. And if you're going through this struggle, talk to your doctor about it. I mean, that's what they're there for. And if your doctor doesn't do this, then please go look up a provider that does, so that you can go in and have an honest conversation about them. I have many friends who do testosterone pellets, and all of them have had good experiences with it. So I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who haven't had good experiences, because I'm sure there are. But for the most part, everybody that I've spoken with has had a great experience with it. And we will do anything that it takes to make sure that we get our pellets every 3 to 4 months. So anyway, that's all I got for you on this topic today. Again, burning questions, please ask them and I will be happy to answer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another coffee chat. See ya. Have a good day.